What is up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a 1-year update on the Bold M1. So it's finally back in stock. That's why I haven't been covering this phone that much, because since I believe the COVID thing, this phone has been out of stock, but it is back in stock now. You can go ahead and pick one up. I'll show you right now for $299 on Amazon. And this was one of my favorite budget phones of last year. So going over the hardware, you do have a glass and metal design, which is really nice. They call this color the Raven Black, and it does have a kind of like a psychedelic little shift to it when it hits the light, as you can see, which I really like. You have your Bold logo down here, very clean design on here, dual camera setup, your flash right here. You also have a power button volume rockers, and one of the things I've always noticed about the volume rockers are they're kind of jingly. Like most volume rockers, they would be pretty solid, but I don't know if you can hear, they kind of move a little bit. I haven't had any issues with them, but that is one thing that I've noticed. The power button is textured, which is something that I really like. And on the bottom you have your headphone jack, USB type C, you have a single firing speaker, and on the side you have your SIM tray. Up front you have a 6.4 inch 1080p AMOLED display, 403 for the PPI, and it is an absolute beautiful display. One of the best you can get at this price point, period. So if you're really into media, this is going to be the phone to watch it on at this price point. It just does not get any better than this for $200. As always with these AMOLED displays, you're going to just notice some really nice blacks on here. Colors are going to be really vibrant, and you know, in a day and age where most smartphones are going to have the punch hole or the little notch, this is going to give you the ultimate video watching experience, which is something that I just really love about this phone. It does make everything on here just a more enjoyable experience. So you are running Android 9. This phone was supposed to get Android 10 and it never did. Now I don't know if what's going on now has anything to do with it, but did not receive the update, so I'm not sure what's going on. Now it did receive 2 security patches, but that was pretty much it. Now you do have the Helio P70 processor and the Mali G72 GPU, and as far as performance, I've never had a problem with performance on here. It's relatively smooth most of the time. Yeah, I really don't have an issue with performance. Now you do have Bold skin, which isn't the prettiest. I'm not a fan of the launchers and sort of like the bigger icons and stuff. I usually put another launcher on here, but I want to show you guys what the stock launcher looks like. But if we go through their notification tray, as you can see, you have a few things in here that are pretty nice. You have a built-in screen recorder, which is pretty nice. You also have little quick toggles to your alarm, camera, calculator. You have your night light. You have your screenshot right here, battery saver, flashlight. So it's nice that they threw in the screen recorder. I wasn't expecting that. Now, gaming on this phone is pretty solid. Again, with the Helio P70, you do have micro SD support and 128 gigs of internal storage, which is really nice, and 4 gigs of RAM on here. So gaming, again, is going to be great. I'll just go ahead and show you the settings for Call of Duty Mobile. As you can see, we're on high frame rates. Again, you're not going to be able to max everything out, of course, but you will be able to play games just fine on here. And what I love about this is that you do not have a notch, so it just makes the experience more immersive here, which is something that I really love. And let me turn the speakers up for you. So I don't know if you can hear, but the speakers are pretty good. Oh man. So speakers are pretty loud on here, and they don't distort at high volumes, which is something that I like. So overall, just the media experience, gaming on here is just going to be really great. I just love having a full screen phone, very slim bezels at this price point. So let's go ahead and talk about some really cool additional features you get with this phone and what this phone does not have. So this phone does have wireless charging, but you do not have NFC on this phone, so you will not be able to do mobile payments, which kind of sucks. This phone also does not have any kind of splash resistance or IP rating, so do note that. Now moving on to the camera, so you do have a little pop-up selfie camera right here, as you can see, and you can see how fast it is. It makes a little sound. So it's pretty decently fast. Coming up, not the fastest that I've seen. I don't think it's as fast as the 7 Pro, but it's decently fast. So the camera on here, you have a 16 megapixel standard and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. So yes, you do not have an ultra wide, and you're limited to 1080p video only. And for the pop-up camera, that is a 13 megapixel and 1080p camera as well. So photos on here are actually pretty decent. I wouldn't say they're bad at all, especially in some pretty good lighting. You can get a pretty solid photo. As you can see, colors actually, you actually get some pretty natural looking colors. Now there's not a whole bunch of detail to these photos. I think it's a decent amount, but overall I think the photos are fine on here. They're not bad by any means, and the selfie camera is actually pretty decent. You get a pretty good shot if you're in good lighting as well. So if you're in good lighting with this phone, I think the cameras are pretty solid. Now for the video, video is kind of, it's not terrible, but definitely you got to be in some really bright lighting. It was kind of like a, you know, a muddy day outside, so it didn't do that well. But overall, I think video again is solid if you're in pretty decent lighting. Now this phone has a in-display fingerprint sensor, as you can see right here. Well, it usually should pop up. It'll usually pop up by itself. There it is, and it's pretty fast. I've never had any issues with it. When it first came out, it was a little slow, but they did fix it with software updates. And you can see it works 100% of the time if you do it right. So I've never had any issues with that. This phone does not have a face unlock. So do note that you won't be able to use that pop-up selfie camera for the face unlock, which is kind of unfortunate. So you have a 3500 milliamp battery on here, 18 watt fast charging, and again, wireless charging on a $200 phone is really nice. You will rarely find that on mid-rangers. So basically, I did a drain test. You will get around 6 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time if you guys want to check that out. So overall, this phone is super solid. I think this phone really needs Android 10 to kind of breathe some new life into it, just to give it the gestures that it needs to take advantage of this full screen display. I think night mode would be a really good addition to this phone as well. So definitely, hopefully Blue will push Android 10 to this. So I'm happy to see it back in the store. It was out of the store for months. So let me know what you guys think about the Bold M1, and I will catch you guys in the next one.